using an Arduino. We're gonna need an Arduino. Any Arduino, and an Arduino to our Arduino ID on the Arduino. He's controlled by an Arduino, active Arduino, powerful Arduino. So yeah, I really do like Arduinos. They're super easy to use, they're mostly quite cheap, pretty readily available, and mostly quite reliable. This isn't even an ad for Arduino, I just really think they're a great hobby and prototyping tool. However, I've seen quite a few comments asking for projects that don't involve an Arduino, and I got the idea that it would be kind of fun to replicate an old Arduino project of mine without an Arduino. And so, in this project we're going to be remaking the Arduino wireless door lock without an Arduino. Okay, so to start off, we need a piece of electronics that is firstly wireless, and secondly needs to have moving parts that we can reuse. And a cheap RC car fits perfectly into this category. So before we dive in, the game plan is to take the car apart, see if the project is possible with the included parts, perform as simple mods as possible, and hopefully end up with a working wireless door lock. So we start off by setting up the car, which for a kid's toy has way too many screws. At this point, I just wanted to play around with the car before I possibly destroyed it, so I had a little bit of fun. It works. After this, we can start gutting the car. Okay, so now we're ready to take the car fully apart. So I put my remote control car here, and I'm just gonna take out all the screws I can find, and I'm already stressed because there are a lot of them. Okay, so from what I can tell, this here is the antenna, there's two front headlights, we knew that, and two back lights. Then there's the steering motor and the actual drive motor with the main control board there. Now I think we should be able to repurpose the steering into our actual door lock, so let's take a look at that. So the first thing I want to do is actually get rid of this antenna. Now this is going to be used obviously as a door lock, so the range doesn't have to be as good as it currently is, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off. If I wanted to, I'm sure I could, just put on a longer piece of wire which would help extend it, but I doubt the range is going to suffer that much without it. I'm also going to get rid of these front LEDs, because obviously a door lock has no use for LEDs. So those come off pretty easily. I think that's just ground there, and then this is forward and that's backward. And just like that, the top of the car is off. So obviously the whole point of this project is to avoid coding and avoid complicated electronics, and just to make it very easy and fun to make a wireless door lock. But there are also some downsides to doing this. So of course, these run off these RF signals from the remotes, which are really common. Most RC cars actually have these. So if someone happens to be using the same channel as you, which I think is 27 megahertz there on the front of the car, it says. So if someone happens to be using that and happens to send the correct command, and your board picks it up, they're probably going to be locking and unlocking your door, which isn't great if you're not in your room at the time. So this is definitely not a security door lock. This is more just as like a kind of practice and test. See if we can do it or see if we can't do it type deal. Okay, so the car has no electronics left in it, so I'm just going to go ahead and ditch it. And this is what we have left. Okay, so with the car completely taken apart, this is what we're left with. A really just disgusting greasy motor I don't even want to mess with. The main control board, which has some nice labeled solder pins that we can use later. The actual turning mechanism, which I do think we're going to end up using, and the switch which turned on and off the car. So my plan is to actually use this turning mechanism as the actual lock for the door. So you'll see when you power it, it spins this motor here and then just locks it out of place when it can't go any further. Now I think that's going to be perfect for what we're trying to achieve here. So we're going to grab that and put it aside. So here's a little close-up of the device. You'll see that there's actually just a gear in there, and the gear has a little bit of a piece that sticks out, and when the gear turns far enough, the piece gets stuck on the outer edge, and that's all it does to go left and right, and that's how the whole turning mechanism works. Now I've got it hooked up to my bench power supply, and we're going to see if we can get it to turn. There it goes. See that again? It really jumps pretty far there, so this is, I think this is going to work. It's quite powerful. Okay, so I just want to give you a really quick demo of how I think this is going to go together. I haven't tested it yet, so I don't know if it actually works, but this is my plan. So we have this little notch here, which is connected to the motor that spins back and forth, and we've seen it in action and it does work. Now my plan is to put this motor on top of the slide lock, and I will slide this little notch into this opening, which is where the handle used to go, on the slide lock. So the idea is that when we send the motor forward, as in the car drives forward or the car turns left or whatever, it opens the door lock, and when it slides right, it closes the door lock. So hopefully that'll work. I'm gonna give it a test now and see what happens. Hey, there we go. Let's try reverse. Make sure it stays right above it. I'm just using my power supply, so it's a bit of a mission to unplug it. But it works for testing. Oh, shit. And reverse. There you go, yeah. So that's proven, works. So now we just need to solder this back up to the main control board and put it in place. So now we've got everything wired back up and the motor is on place on top of the slide lock, and it is still working, lovely. Now something that's really important to note right now is originally this car was being powered by 3 AA's, right? So 3 AA's is 4.5 volts because 1 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 is 4.5. Now 4.5 volts isn't a hard voltage to replicate, but I just figured it would be a lot easier for me if I could just power this whole thing off a 5 volt USB power. So I plugged it into a 5 volt supply, and luckily enough this board will accept 5 volts. Now I figured if it's accepting 4.5 volts, it can probably go all the way up to 5 volts, so I wasn't too hesitant, but it's nice to see that it does work stably at 5 volts. So when I mount this in place, I can just plug it into a typical USB output. Now also another thing to note is I was completely wrong about the antenna. I had to put it back on and I had to use the one they included. Now without the antenna the signal is just way too weak. Even with the controller right on top of the circuit board, I couldn't get a connection. So if you do try this, make sure you keep an antenna of some sort on the board or you're not going to be able to connect with your controller. Cool, so I guess the next step now is to mount the actual wireless door lock onto my door and then configure the controller to make it a bit smaller and desk friendly. Okay, so here's what I managed to come up with. So as you can see, the controller's gone through heavy modification. I've completely removed the case. I've taken the circuit board and cut it down to just what I need, so the microcontroller and the 2 buttons for lock and unlock. And then I've just glued the antenna on so it can sit on my desk. And into the actual casing, I've actually cut out the battery holder and made it into a stand so I can just sit there and I can click the button to lock and unlock the door. Now to the actual lock itself, I glued the actual motor in place, and then on top of that I glued the circuit board and then just the switch and the cap for ease of access when I want to turn it on and off. Now like I said earlier, we had to keep that big annoying antenna in place because it had a terrible range. But what I realized is we can get rid of this piece of metal and actually solder the antenna connection directly to the metal slide lock, and that acts as a perfectly fine antenna for quite a good distance. So you can see it in action here. And now I guess the last step is to actually just mount this onto my door and the project will be finished. Now you may notice that it's not very neat and there are just wires hanging out everywhere. Now the reason for this is because I'm taking it down straight after this video, and the main reason for that is because I'm terrified of someone nearby having the same signal and locking my door without me realizing it and then me being stuck out of my room. But it does work. So here's the controller. Click lock, it locks the door. Click unlock, it unlocks the door. There we go. Another thing I really like about this project is the controller is so small. It just fits on my desk really easily, and there's no need to have a switch on it because it uses that auto power off and auto power on feature that most remote controls have. So there's no need to switch anything on and off. I can just click the button to lock and unlock the door when there's someone at the door. So really fun, really easy project to do, and I'm really happy with the outcome. Now, like I said before, I'm definitely going to take it down because the chances of someone using an RC car nearby and actually locking and unlocking my door is quite high, and that would really suck if I just got home one day and the door was locked and I couldn't get in. So yeah, I don't recommend anyone uses this on their door, but it's a fun project to learn about circuits and see if we can actually build it. Let me know if you want to keep seeing videos like these, or if I should just stick to the Arduino projects. Also, this channel is getting really close to 10k, which is really exciting, so I'm going to start planning some sort of special for that. Subscribe if you want to see more, and thanks for watching.